Hey there. Now, if you've been in the UAE for quite some time, you definitely know that property is a hot topic, especially in the recent past. We've seen off plan investments grow, ready properties thrive. We've seen a great amount of foreign interest coming in, including even residents who are looking to now buy than rent. What's that scene all about? I asked my next guest on Karishma Connect, which is Eyal Ashur, a sales consultant from Aqua Properties, who speaks to me about being Mr. Jumeirah and what does that area offer to investors looking to find a home in Dubai. But not just that, he also tells me about other areas to look out for, what's in it for any budding real estate professional to find themselves in a career path that is so unique and has so much to offer. Go tune into the episode. Until the next one, stay tuned. This is Karishma. I'll be back yet again. Tata. Thank you so much, Eyal, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's a pleasure to host you. I can't wait to know more. I'm also looking forward to knowing why you have Mr. Jumeirah there. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
Most welcome. Now tell me about your journey so far and then get me to why is it Mr. Jumeirah?
Okay. So I came to Dubai, I think it was September 23, um, after being at home for 3 years before I was traveling and living abroad as well. So my journey so far, I think a lot of people actually, when you're in Dubai, you hear the stories of why they came here, and a lot of them actually has to do with a heartbreak. So was mine. So yeah, it was a bit of a journey, and I also needed a change, right? And people are flocking into Dubai for a reason. For me, I was looking into getting into real estate because I think customer service for me, customer centricity is key in everything that I do. Giving value and being surrounded. When I give good service, I get goosebumps on my body. And I was working in hospitality, but I was looking to earn more money, to make more of a career of myself and to make a change. And I wanted to move abroad. So for me, the two major markets were either Miami or the UAE. And the UAE is better connected to the rest of the world. So going home and traveling would be easier. So that's why I decided to come to the UAE. So I came here for a short visit with friends. I saw the possibility, the opportunity, and I decided to make a move. I applied for Aqua Properties. I absolutely fell in love with the people that interviewed me, and I decided to show the real estate market, to show Dubai what I'm capable of. And then I went to Aqua Properties. They just opened a branch in Port de la Mer, which is the area that I specialize in, and which is in Jumeirah, hence the name Mr. Jumeirah. So, and then one last thing I will say before we go into the next question. I believe that you should listen to the people that are, let's say, a couple of years down the path where you want to be. Listen to them, shut up, and just do what they say. Take those good things and just apply them. And for me, there was, the CEO, whether it was our CEO or my manager or the manager of the primary section of our company, they said just focus. Take one area, even if it's small, if it's just one building or one neighborhood, and just focus on that, and the rest will come slowly. So that's what I did. I came to Port de la Mer. I live here now as well. So I live and work only in this area. And last year I managed to become number one of the whole organization, which was my first calendar year as well in real estate in Dubai. So very, very proud. It comes with its own struggle now, but yeah, very, very proud. And that's just because I listened to the CEO, I listened to my manager, and I was very, very focusing, and I provided value to my customers. So yeah, that's why Mr. Jumeirah.
Congratulations to you on that, firstly. Second of all, how difficult, most welcome. How you said to focus on one area, but oftentimes in life, it's a it's a choice that comes with great difficulty and great consideration because people oftentimes are doubtful whether they should be putting all their eggs in one basket or having options. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I'll summarize very quickly. If people know, they probably do, Mr. Tony Robbins. Obviously, he's a big name, right, in the industry. I really do love it. You cannot see it, but my house is full of books. He said it in two words: full immersion. Full immersion. If you do something, just go full, all in. And also, from the NLP world, they say they talk about modeling, right? So you think you know everything. When I came to Dubai and my first company, they said, "Oh, you do JLT or you do this," and I was like, "Ah, but I have a guy. He has properties over there. Can I do this? Can I do that?" And believe me, it doesn't work. It works maybe down the road, down the line, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, you need to learn how it operates. Just do it in your own bubble. Learn from there, and slowly, it will go very, very naturally. You'll go into other areas. It will happen by itself. But in the beginning, just focus.
True. And then tell me, what has real estate given you at an individual level over the past year?
Resilience, absolutely. Resilience. That's the name of the game. You need to be so resilient. Wow, wow, wow. You cannot even imagine how many no's we get. Really, it's tough. It's tough to give somebody, let's say, a cold call, right? If you have one property here in Dubai, it's fine. But if you got, let's say, 4 or 5 properties, you're getting 10 to 15 phone calls a day. A day. How do you stand out? How do you stand out? I have my tips and tricks, but I managed to stand out, I guess. I'm still very, very in the beginning of my career. But it might sound a bit posh or a bit like, I don't know how to say it, but for me, it doesn't make sense for people not to work with me because I know what I bring to the table, right? So I live here, I work only here, I'm looking to invest here now. We are the only brokerage to have a community office in Port de la Mer. It's like one plus one plus one. If you just understand how much value I bring to the table, right? Because let's be honest, I don't get paid for the time. I get paid for the value that I bring to these people, right? If I know how to convey the message to my sellers, to my buyers, through exposing how trustworthy I am, how available I am, how hard I work, that's my selling point. Again, you need to do it like in a probably like 30 seconds, right? In the first 30 seconds you're speaking to somebody, he needs to hear your passion in your voice. He needs to understand the value that you bring. It's very, very hard.
Why is it such a good time to invest in the UAE right now?
The UAE is, I like to believe, I do believe in supply and demand. I studied economics, and rule number one in economics is supply and demand, right? The supply outperforms demand here for the last so many years, and it's not expected to decrease, right? People from all over the world. I can give you an example about my parents who came to visit here for the first time a few months back. They were very, very undecided about Dubai. And when they came here, and my mom is from the Netherlands, right? So it's a very social country. Don't you raise your head too high, because if you're going too high, they'll pull you down. Because don't be different. She fell in love with the UAE. Okay, my friends came to visit me from the Netherlands. They had the same idea. They said like, okay, this is different. It's different than we thought. My cousin came to visit me. Again, the same. So people have a prejudice about the UAE, but they don't really know. But when they come to visit here, sure, the UAE has its drawbacks. Obviously, every place does. But there are so many benefits here, and every person that comes to visit here leaves with like a feeling. Is like, okay, it's possible. It's possible. It's not so weird to come and live here. There is communities for every person, whether you come from India, Iran. There is a community for everybody here, and everybody's accepting. And business is rule number one here. But you have to come here, and you want to succeed. And so whether you come here to live, to invest, whatever, it's a home for everybody. And it will continue to be for the next 15, 20 years. you know Look what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening in Europe. It feels like the world is like crumbling apart, and like a place like the UAE is like going the opposite direction. And I don't expect it to go down anytime soon. We've seen a tremendous increase in the last 10, 50 years when I was not here. I don't know, I cannot guarantee, nobody can look into the future if it's going to continue in the same path. But going down, I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon.
When it comes to younger buyers, which is an emerging population that is now looking to invest rather than rent, what are some of your tips for them? What should they keep in mind, especially when it comes to finances?
Okay, so I think the world has changed, right? Whereas our parents, how they taught me as well, right, is buy your house where you live in. But there is a new wave of young people that understand that an investment is different than where you want to live, right? You may want to live in a place where there are good schools and it's an established area, but it might not be the right place to invest. You want to invest maybe in a place where it's more upcoming. It's perhaps it's more expensive or it's cheaper. It doesn't really matter. For example, okay, maybe not so much anymore, but a few years back, JVC here in Dubai, it's like I don't want to live in JVC. I wouldn't live in JVC, whether it's the traffic, where it's like I need to be near to the water, but it would be a good place to invest. Now there's like 80 projects coming up soon, so I'm not quite sure if it's still relevant. But there are enough places like this. For example, Arjan, it's a good place to invest. I don't know if I would live there.
Are there any areas that you would recommend?
So basically, JVC. I don't know if it's still a good place to invest. The whole of the UAE is a good place to invest, right? But if you look in the top areas, it's also again it's hard to say because for example, La Mer, I truly believe in La Mer, okay, and Jumeirah one because it's going also north and it's going south, and here in La Mer and Jumeirah one we're very central. We're on the water and we're still very close to DIFC. We are close to Business Bay downtown, right? But La Mer, if you want to buy a one-bedroom apartment here, right, which is a one-bedroom plus a living room, you're looking at least around 2 million, at least. The benchmark would be a 2.3 million. For that price, you can buy a three-bedroom townhouse and a little bit further out, right? So I've been looking also at the Valley by Emar, which I think is also a very good area to invest. The reason is because it's a very strong developer and Imar is very good in building master communities. And there is a shortage in townhouses. So if you want to drive from La Mer to, let's say, Business Bay downtown or DIFC in traffic time, it can take you 20-25 minutes. If you drive from the valley to the same place, which is much further, it takes you approximately the same time. So if you're a family and you want more space for a three-bedroom townhouse here in Sur La Mer, you are paying now around 9.5 to 10 million. Over there, you're paying 2.5, 2.7. So you're paying three times as much. But I can, but here, for example, those townhouses they were selling half year ago for 8.5 million. There's now transacted one for 9.9. So the capital appreciation here is significantly larger in net amount, right? Not in the percentage of capital appreciation, but actually in the actual money. People made a lot of money here because it's a very limited availability. You're on the beach, you're on the water. How much more can they build? Whereas in the desert, it's much easier to build. So I think depending on the amount you have to invest, I would definitely tell people to look in the coastline of Jumeirah and even a little bit north of that. Now we got Maritime City coming up. Amazing place to invest, absolutely, because the infrastructure that they are building, from Maritime City to downtown, will be approximately the same as it is from the Mer, perhaps a few minutes more, right? So Maritime City is definitely a place to look at. Um, I would look in places like the Valley by Ymar, absolutely, and La Mer, but I would put La Mer approximately the same as Maritime City. Let's say, you know what? I'll give you another one. Dubai Creek Harbor,
How important is doing a check on the developer front?
crucial. You mean the reputation of the developer? Yeah, I love the sweet spots. So it's easy to go for a big developer like Emar, which is always a good decision, right? But if you are an investor and you're looking to really utilize your money, if you're young, for example, right, you're looking to take a little bit more risk, but more of a calculated risk. You need to look at new developers that coming into the market but have a reputation abroad. For example, if I'm not mistaken, it was a developer called DHG in JVC. It's a developer from Sweden, and they've been in the market over there for 20 years, right? And they had their first project in JVC. I don't remember the name. I can write it in the comments. But that's a sweet spot, right? Because they're looking to build a name here. So their entry price was not as high because they're looking to build a reputation. So the first project they want people to buy, but it's very, very important for them that when they sell the next projects, they can say, listen, this is our first project. Go have a look, right? So that's a sweet spot. You got a Swedish developer coming for the first time to Dubai, have a good price because if you got really like one of the first people investing, you got early, you got a very good price. And they use very good materials. They use like materials from Italy for the kitchen, for example. A lot of the developers will tell you, yeah, from Italy, from there, from that. But you know from them that it's true, right? You know the supplies, you know they're high end, high luxury in an upcoming market back in JVC back then. So that will be like a good investment for me.
Tell me, as a realtor, what are some of the things that you would like to talk about that every realtor must know, especially the budding ones that are looking to enter the market? What they don't know about this job that you can perhaps share because you're doing it on a day-to-day basis.
Create value, right? Key. Really, that's the key for the game. Create value. Okay. Second of all, um, it's hard. It's hard, and you need to be very resilient, right? We talked about it. And the third thing is focus. So I think those are the key things: resilience, focus, and value. Those are the three things. Put it into your brain and broadcast, convey it in every conversation you have.
My last question to you is, Eyal, tell me, what's the way forward? What are you most looking forward to? Where do you think the market is headed?
Well, I can tell you, I'm very excited to wake up in the morning every day again to work in the industry that I work. It's tough. It's not easy. I'm looking forward to developments coming here in my area. Actually, people that have been in Dubai for long, they know the old La Mer Beach, where the old hospitality venues used to be. Miras, together with Merex, they bought the property. They closed it a few years back, and now they are redeveloping it. So basically, they're gonna demolish everything. Unfortunately, I love to do my walks there, and the beach is very, very unique and very picturesque. They're gonna demolish everything, and they're gonna build 9 residential low-rise towers, G plus, G plus 7, 6, 7, and 10, something not too high. They're selling it a significant amount of money, 7,000 per square foot. I heard, starting from two bedrooms. But I think it's just an incredible investment. If you think of that, Bulgari, which is branded residence. By the way, I think people give too much attention to branded residence. I like to more look at the parties involved in the construction. So over there, for example, you have Miras as the developer, but the architectural company is called Foster and Partners, and they architect beyond the Apple stores around the world, right? Index Tower here in Dubai, the rings, and they have so many amazing. I think they also developed Zayed Museum in Abu Dhabi. So they've an amazing organization, right? People don't look at it because they don't know. They see Foster Partners, they have no idea. But when they read Bulgari, it's like, oh yeah, wow, Bulgari. So I think it's a bit superficial. We need to look at at these kind of partners. They also do it together with Brookfield, and Brookfield, they have in DIFC, they have ICD Brookfield, which is considered to be the best commercial space in Dubai, right? So these are two very, very strong entities that work together with Miras. And you have what they call a limited access beach, which is actually a private beach, right? And also the park over there will be limited access. Again, they call it like that, but it's actually a private park. So you are in Jumeirah 1, you have amazing partners, you have your own beach. This is such an incredible investment. I understand 7,000 per square foot sounds very, very expensive, but you need to look at the remaining, right? Also on La Mer South, they're going to build Azora residences, which is going to be like Al Marsa mansions that are in Sukim next to Burj Al Arab. So the whole area is seeing like an insurge of so much capital, and like this is ultra luxury, right? We talked about ultra luxury. This is yeah, the epitome of ultra luxury. Absolutely. So that I'm very, very excited to be a part of it. And because I truly go all in, full immersion, as we said, into this area, I will be a name in this area.
Well, more power to you. I really hope that comes true. All the very, very best. Thank you so much for joining once again.
Well, thank you very much, Karishma. Thank you.